welcome back. So this new video series is going to be the documentation of my keto powerlifting prep. So it's currently the 29th of October 2019 and I have a meet picked out for January 12th 2020. So in this series I'll hopefully do a weekly video that'll show how I prepare for this meet. Now basically we have 10.5 weeks to get ready for this competition, which as far as a powerlifting prep goes is quite short, but as I have an extensive background in training anyway, I feel that I should be able to wing it and should be able to get there in time. However, if something does come up in the middle where I find that it's not going to be beneficial for me to continue, then we will reassess at that point. But hopefully I can create this weekly video and document the preparation. So leading into week 1, it's what they call the TE week. Now TE is technical evaluation, so we're looking at some functional mobility on this one to see where my mobility's at, and then this will be followed up by a 3 rep set in the squat, the bench press and the deadlift, and this will be at an RPE of 8, which is basically the rate of perceived exertion, and 8 being a score out of 10. So if I was to go to a max out, I should basically have 2 reps left in the tank. So this 3 rep set on the major lifts will be quite heavy, but it won't be to failure, and this is just to see where the baseline is at, so then we can build the program from there. So it's going to be interesting to see how my body responds to this new training stimulus. So follow along if you're interested in powerlifting, and if you're interested in keto, then this might be something that you're interested in. So I'll try and get a bunch of footage in regards to the lifting specifics, and then I'll come back towards the end of the week and give a recap of the week that was. So anyway, that's all for now, and I'll see you a bit later on in the week. So the deep squat, now this is a test to see what the mobility is, and as you can see there I'm quite stiff and lean forward a fair bit, whereas the deep squat with a heel rise I'm a lot more straight up and down, so this would lead to believe that possibly a elevated heel would be beneficial for my squat. But as you can see here, my RPE 8 of 150 kilos for 3 reps actually goes quite well, and at this stage the coach has decided not to implement any elevated heels. We're just going to continue with a flat shoe for now, but that is also subject to change, so we'll see how that progresses. So the shoulder mobility test, this is just to see the range of movement and whether there's any pain throughout the movement. As you can see, I have full range of movement and there wasn't any pain when performing this test. So that basically lets the coach know that we're good to continue with the training and there's nothing that we need to worry about there as far as shoulder issues. Another shoulder mobility test, this one is just to see the range of flexibility, and as you can see there I'm not that flexible, but once again after revision from the coach we've decided that that's not an issue and we'll be able to continue with the chest and shoulder training as planned. As you can see here, I worked up to an RPE 8 of 95 kilos for 3 reps. Now once again my form's not perfect and there is a lot of things that we need to work on, but as a baseline starting point it's not too bad, and I'm looking forward to see how things progress in the next 10 to 12 week period. And for the deadlift we have an active straight leg raise test. Now this looks for mobility and flexibility and tightness within the hamstring, and although the mobility isn't the best, it shows that there's no injuries and we're able to continue with the deadlift program. So we worked up to an RPE 8 at 3 reps, 200 kilos. And the feedback from the coach on this one was, although the baseline strength is great, the technical side isn't that great, and mainly in regards to my back position. So not having the most neutral back, so that's something that we're going to be working on in the coming weeks, and hopefully we can increase from there. So that's the technical evaluation week done, and it was the 3 workouts only, which was a lower frequency than what I'm used to, but it was also a lower volume as it was this technical evaluation week. Now, in saying that, it was interesting to look into the technical side because it's something that I've never really thought about before, and I've just been going on the assumption of if I'm getting stronger and I'm not getting injured, then my form must be okay. So the feedback from the coach on these 3 lifts was the baseline strength is good, however the technical side needs to be brought up to the effect of if I continue lifting like this, especially for the deadlift, I'm going to get injured. So that was very sobering to hear an expert opinion on the technical side of my lifts. So moving forward, there's going to be a few things that will be implemented each week to try and bring that technical side up. So it's going to be interesting to see how I can take on board this advice and adjust my lifts to suit. So that's where we're at with the technical evaluation week. Now, I just thought I'd touch briefly on nutrition because it's always something that people are interested in. As far as my nutrition this week, it's been instinctive eating keto carnivore. So generally it would be steak and eggs for breakfast. It will be bacon and eggs for lunch, and I've actually been having a morning tea type meal, which is usually some kind of cold cut of meat. And all meals include a coffee as always, and that'll either be a bulletproof coffee or a cream coffee. And I've actually had a few alcoholic beverages this week just through social events. So my nutrition isn't as strict as it will be, but currently I'm at about 85 kilos and I'll be looking to compete in the 82.5 kilo class. So I will need to dial that nutrition in at some point. But as we're still 10 weeks out, I don't think it's a major concern at this point. So that's the recap of the TE week for the keto powerlifting prep. Hopefully you've learned something, hopefully you've enjoyed it, and I look forward to this series continuing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.